what we've heard so far this morning has predominantly been evidence from anti-gambling advocates, those that are pushing the government to go further than its current proposal to restrict gambling ads online, in television and on radio. In particular, we heard from a member of the Gambling Harm Alliance, Tim Costello, talking about a gentleman that he's been speaking with who's currently in the Stillwater prison on charges relating to his alleged theft of $12.3 million from his own company to fund a gambling habit. Reverend Costello telling the committee that gambling companies like Tab and Sportsbet encouraged this gentleman to attend exclusive events, would put him up in terms of accommodation, food, alcohol, and even go so far as to procure escorts and illegal drugs for this man. Now, the committee also heard from former Canberra Raiders NRL player Luke Bateman, who himself was a gambling addict and has managed to survive that period of his life, at one point losing tens of thousands of dollars to gambling every month. He spoke to the committee about his own personal experience, echoing that example there from Reverend Costello. He actually said himself that he was offered things like drugs by members of these gambling companies, not different gambling companies, but saying that he felt that he was also being induced with all of these perks to continue gambling.
There were times where I would be flown interstate and taken to, race days, put in marquees with alcohol and food provided all day, things like that. But also, before getting there, your VIP manager would offer you, hey mate, what drugs do you want? Do you want a couple of bags for this weekend? We'll organise that for you.
The Greens and members of the Coalition and some crossbenchers like ACT Senator David Pocock all want the government to move on inducements. They want a total ban on them. They've also pushed for things like extending some of the conditions around the restrictions on ads so that, for example, online it's an opt-in system rather than opt-out. There's also a push for a national regulator, but Communications Minister Annika Wells has really maintained that the proposal that's put forward, the reforms that are on the table, are the strongest that have ever been put forward by a government, and standing by them. And specifically on the issue of inducements, she's talked about the government's efforts to strengthen BetStop, which is a system that basically anyone who wants to opt out of gambling and is essentially self-identifying as being a problem gambler, they can opt out, and that actually prohibits gambling companies from contacting them. She was really emphasising that service here as a way to tackle the issue of inducements.
I would say to people who are either suffering from gambling harm or wish to see inducements, or who have been advocating in the space of inducements, to assist the cause by making sure that people who might benefit from BetStop are aware of BetStop and can take and use the benefits of BetStop, because it is a really useful, perhaps the most useful based on the statutory review, thing that we as a government can do.